We had just started this canto last time and we did a few sentences. The Madonna of Suffering is the first soul force Savitri is meeting in the inner countries. There were many bright forms. What we have in this canto is the description of just three. The first Madonna is the Madonna of Suffering, My Lady of Suffering. And she is one who is full of compassion, karuna, as we would call in Sanskrit, karuna. Absorbed in a deep compassion's ecstasy, lifting the mild ray of her patient gaze in soft, sweet, training words, slowly she spoke. Absorbed in a deep compassion's ecstasy. That is her character. That is her nature. Although she is the mother of sorrows, suffering, but that sorrow is coming out of the compassion for the creature, for man. Now, in this phrase, deep compassion's ecstasy, what does this deep stand for? Is it ecstasy which is deep, or is it compassion which is deep? In a deep compassion, you see, the English will allow both. English will allow both. It can be deep compassion, it can be compassion's deep ecstasy. Obviously, if you write down absorbed in a compassion's deep ecstasy, the meaning is explicit, but the poet is gone. The poet is gone. Deep has to be here only, not with ecstasy. Now, so we can link up this deep either with compassion or with ecstasy. But seeing the drift of the whole presentation, it is more the compassion which is deep than the ecstasy. It is deep compassion. It's ecstasy. It is the ecstasy of deep compassion which is standing for her. Deep because we have seen earlier also, accepting the universe as her body of woe. That is the depth of her compassion. That is the depth of her compassion. It's not so much the ecstasy which matters, but the depth of compassion which is important. And she is accepting the entire misery, suffering, anguish of this creation. And it is that depth of compassion which is now being presented here. So I will connect deep more with compassion than with ecstasy. Absorbed in a deep compassion's ecstasy, lifting the mild ray of her patient gaze, mild, because she cannot assert. She is a person who will have compassion, but will not impose that compassion on others. She even lacks that kind of a strength to impose her will on others. And later on we'll see that when Savitri comes back, she tells this Madonna, when I come back one day, I will give you strength to stand that thing. I will give strength. And therefore, it is a mild ray which is going to get more strength when Savitri comes back after that. Lifting the ray, mild ray of her patient gaze. So she is quite willing to suffer over long periods of time, and helping man, helping the creature. In soft, sweet, training words, slowly she spoke. See how emphatically each word with pause is saying. And see the soft, sweet, slow spoke. See the alliteration of S, the sibilant. You see the flow. Soft, sweet, training words, slowly she spoke. It's a double alliteration actually. S alliteration is there. T, T here, T here, T here, training words. She spoke. S and T alliteration, double alliteration. In soft, sweet, training words, she spoke. Means one after the other, the words are coming like a train in a sequel. Oh Savitri, I am thy secret soul. You are looking for your soul. Here I am. I am a part of your soul, secret soul. She immediately gives assurance to Savitri. To share the suffering of the world I came. I draw my children's pangs into my breast. That is the depth of her compassion. That is the depth of her compassion, you see. I draw my children's pangs into my breast. I hold all the anguish, all the suffering of man, of humanity, of this creature, you see. I am the nurse of the dolor beneath the star of this suffering, of this anguish, of this misery. I am one who is taking care of, nursing man. It is not that the nurse of the dolor. She is not nursing dolor in the sense that she is increasing dolor. She is taking care of the dolor, of suffering. Nurse, you see. I am the nurse of the dolor beneath the stars, beneath the stars. Well, what she is saying that, look, above in the sky, there is no dolor, there is no sorrow, there is no suffering. It is here down below, beneath the stars. Beneath the stars in the night.
What did you say about the nurse? She is
sorrow, suffering.
And on the nurse of the dolor?
Nurse means she is taking like an ill person. How you take the care of an ill person?
Okay, so she is not the person who takes care of the dolor.
Yes, nurse is the one. Yeah, person who takes care of it.
Take care. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this word nurse in India, in England also, English word is used for a female nurse. But in the American medical system, even a man is a nurse. Yes, he is a nurse, you see, like that, who takes care of the patient. I am the soul of all who wailingly writhe, squirming, making uneasy movements like that, writhing like a worm, going. I am the soul of all who wailing writhe under the ruthless harrow of the gods, ruthless harrow of the gods. Harrow, the instrument of suffering. You must have seen during the Inquisition period how they used rack and pinion to torture the non-believers. Non-believers, you see. Galileo was shown all the instruments of pain. You have got a rack and a pinion, put your leg on that and push it around that thing, you see, like that, you see. And then you rise, you scum like that, you see. We have seen those kind of horrors also, and it is that reference, ruthless, no mercy at all. You are talking about God, but still this is the kind of a cruel act you are doing. Therefore, harrow of the gods, you see. You must believe in God by forcing that. I am woman. Again he is saying nurse, and slave and beaten beast. Well, she suffers. She is willing to suffer. I tend the hands that gave me the cruel blows. So people who come and beat me, still I take care of them, see. The hearts that spurned my love and zeal as served. The heart that spurned my love and zeal. Spurned my love and zeal. This is a single phrase. My love and zeal. Spurned, shunned, not accepted. Has the spurned. I serve. Now, basically, in terms of grammatical construction, this is an inversion. The straightforward line will be, I serve the heart that spurned my love and zeal. This line should be, in terms of the meaning, the main clause is I serve. I the subject, serve the verb. I serve what? The hearts, the object is the heart. That spurned my love and zeal. But here, it is an inversion. You see, if you read like this one, I serve the heart that spurned my love and zeal. Well, it is possible, it's not so bad, but still it's not poetic enough. It doesn't bring that force. So, Sri Aurobindo normally in poetic constructions does not resort to inversion. In fact, he tells specifically to avoid inversion. He tells very emphatically in poetry, avoid as far as possible inversion. Inversion means bringing the main clause after the object clause. But here he is departing from his own rule because that serves that purpose better for him by departing. The hearts that spurned my love and zeal, I serve. That is how you read. Inward will be a small pause after zeal when you are reading. I am the courted queen, the pampered doll. Yeah. I am the giver of the bowl of rice. So I give rice to everybody. I feed people. Giver of the bowl of rice. I serve food, nourishment to humankind, to one man. Bowl of rice, giver of bowl of rice. In the Indian custom, in the Indian tradition, the goddess who serves food, she is called Annapurna. Anna means food. Annapurna. She serves that. So she is here, Annapurna now. I am the giver of the bowl of rice. I serve. I am the worshipped angel of the house. Worshipped angel of the house. The woman who is responsible for all the good in the house. And she is respected for that purpose. She is the angel of the house. Now, see, I am the worshipped angel, so naturally a very faithful, very pious, very holy, very considerate lady in the house, elderly person who will take care of every family member in a proper manner and all that thing. She will be worshipped, she will be respected by everybody in the family, see. So I am that, she says the same. Now, this is the plain meaning of that thing, but there is a reference to a poem by Patmore, Coventry Patmore, to the angel in the house. He has a poem entitled The Angel in the House. Sri Aurobindo has physically lifted this phrase. Instead of saying angel in the house, he says angel of the house. What we have here is angel of the house. The popular Victorian image of the ideal wife or woman to be the angel in the house. She was expected to be devoted and submissive to her husband. The angel was passive and powerless, meek, charming, graceful, sympathetic, self-sacrificing. The needs of others are greater for her than her own need. If children are not getting proper food, she will serve from her own dish to them, you see. Self-sacrificing, pious, above all, pure. The phrase angel in the house comes from the title of an immensely popular poem by Coventry Patmore, in which he holds his angel wife up as a model for all women. Patmore has written a poem on his own wife, who is the angel of his house. These are some parts from the poem. Man must be pleased. That is what the angel in the house will do. Man must be pleased. But him to please is woman's pleasure. Down to gulf of his condoled necessities, she casts her best. She flings herself. How often flings or not, and yokes her heart to an icicle of whim, small bit of it, whose each impatient word provokes another, not from her, but him. While she, too gentle, even to force her patience by kind replies, she will not force, even her replies will be very kind, patient, removed, with pardon in her pitying eyes, as if he once, by shame oppressed, a comfortable word confers. She leans and weeps against his breast, and seems to think the sin was hers, not he. He is not at fault, I am at fault. That's what she says, hers. Or an eye to see her charms. At any time, she still his wife, dearly devoted to his arms. She loves with love that cannot tire. She loves with love that cannot tire. That is the thing, you see. And when, she loves alone, through passionate duty, love springs higher. So by that love, the love itself gets elevated, gets more sublime, becomes more sublime. As grass grows taller around a stone, that is the way you see, she grows, her love grows. Initially, this ideal primarily expressed the values of the middle classes. However, Queen Victoria's devoting herself to her husband, Prince Albert, had no domestic life encouraged the ideal to spread throughout 19th century society. She was not like that herself, but the Victorian ideal is that, you see. Of course, modern girls, they will not like this thing at all. they won't like this thing at all. This is nonsense, you see. It's all too old to, etc. These wives say, man must be pleased, but him must please, etc. The ideal of the angel in the house. Following the publication of Patmore's poem, the term angel in the house came to be used in reference to women who embodied the Victorian feminine ideal. A wife and mother who was selflessly devoted to her children and submissive to her husband. Now these values are gone totally, you see. I don't know if it's for good or for bad, but they are not there now. This poem was written in 1862, so, yeah, about that, sorry, title 1854. So that is the angel in the house, you see. So you see, Sri Aurobindo is very alert when he is describing this mother of deep compassions, ecstasy, with deep compassions of ecstasy. She is very careful in the family. She takes care of every detail of the family members and all that, you see. Angel of the house, as I said, he uses of, not in the house. Angel in the house, no, he is the angel of the house. I am the worshipped angel of the house. I am in all that suffers and that cries. Mine is the prayer that climbs in vain from earth. Because it is a mind ray. Because a mind ray. The electromagnetic wave is not strong enough to climb to high skies, you see. Mine is a prayer that climbs in vain from earth. I am traversed by creatures' agonies. I am the spirit in a world of pain. The scream of tortured flesh and tortured hearts, fallen back on heart and flesh, unheard by heaven, has rent with helpless grief and wrath, my soul. Tortured flesh and tortured hearts. You see, you can see how poetically, artistically says, scream of tortured flesh. The flesh itself is crying, and of course the heart. Then he says, fallen back on hearts and flesh. You see, the heart here has come first here, and flesh here has come afterwards. You see, the screen of tortured flesh and tortured heart and flesh. So flesh and heart has become heart and flesh. Why? Because it has fallen back. You see, it has fallen back. You see how careful he is as an artist. Yeah. Fallen back on heart and flesh, unheard by heaven. Heaven doesn't know this torture. They are happy, merry there, you see. Has rent with helpless grief and wrath, my soul. I have seen the peasant burning in his hut. Yeah, we see how the farmers commit suicide because of the misery in the world, you see. I have seen the slashed corpse of the slaughtered child. There cannot be anything more cruel than that. The child is already slaughtered and you still slash it, you see. I have seen the slashed. This is what man does, you see. And this kind of a thing, this cruelty, this suffering, this perversion is typical to man. It is not there in the lower animal world. You see, that thing doesn't happen at all. With the arrival of mind, it becomes pervert. It is the mental being which has brought that perversion. Heard woman's cry, ravished and stripped and hailed. Ravished, she is stripped off, made with her. She is ravished, enjoyed, raped. Hail means pull, drag. You drag a load with the help of a rope or something like that. That's called hail. Heard woman's cry, ravished and stripped and hail. So the woman is tied to a rope and dragged. See. Amid the bayings of the hellhound mob, I had looked on. I had no power to save. Helplessly I see that, but I can't do anything at all. Now this is absolutely typical. This is in fact the illustration of that thing we have already seen last time. Mary seeing her son being flogged, being beaten, being made to move with the whips on the Via Dolorosa, there, carrying the cross. She is helpless. She is seeing her son suffering like that. She can't do anything at all. She is helpless, absolutely helpless there. She is standing and watching the whole thing. Looked on. I had no power to save. She is the mother of suffering. See. One of the sufferings of her. See. I have brought no arm of strength to aid or slay. No arm of strength. I cannot bring a strong hand to save anybody at all. See. Strength. Now that is exactly in response to that, Savitri will tell her, when I come back, your job is to give consolation, compassion. When I come back, I will give strength. She is saying that I don't have strength at the moment, but when I come back, Savitri says, I will give strength. I have shared the toil of the yoked animal drudge. So the routine, very tiresome kind of an activity, daily work, drudge. You get engaged from morning till night, same thing, go round and round, round and round and round, round. It's a drudge, you see, routine animal drudge. The animal which is tied to the wheel or to the yoke, and you crush coconut or oil and extract that thing. The animal goes on and on like that, you see. I have shared the fearful life of bird and beast. Fearful life of bird. Yeah, birds also have fear, you see. They try to protect themselves in some manner or other. Always. And beast. Its long hunt for the day's precarious food. Well, that is what happens, you see. A small bird, if it goes in the open, suddenly the crow will come and eat it up, you see. Its covered slink and crouch and hungry prowl, its pain and terror seized by beak and claw. The bird will swoop down and pick it up like that. I have shared the daily life of common men. See, unless she suffers, how can she say? She has to accept the pain of the bird. I have shared the daily life of common men, his petty pleasure and his petty care, his press of troubles and haggard hoard of ill, tiresome, old, aged, us trail of sorrow, hopeless relief, the unwanted tedious labor without joy. The slave keeps on doing the same thing repeatedly. He has no way of escaping that kind of a burden. And a burden of misery and strokes of fate. Fate will keep on whipping it. I have seen pity leaning over pain, and a tender smile that healed the wounded heart, and sympathy making life less hard to bear. You see a suffering child crying for food or whatever it is. What do? You simply smile. You at the most show gesture, what a pity, this is all. But you don't go and really give any help, you see that. And sympathy making life less hard to bear. Man has felt near my unseen face and hands. I have become the sufferer, and he is mourn. Unless she becomes the sufferer of man, she cannot save man. And his moan, I have lain down with a mangled and a slain, who is mutilated, slain, who is killed. I have been with them also, see. I have laid the prisoner in his dungeon cell, in the dark, lonely cell. The prisoner is tied with a heavy ball of lead to his leg, and he cannot move. Yes. So that's the pity. We have gone through everything. Now this is the perversion of man. It comes with the mental being. It is not there in the animal world at all. It comes with the mental being. This perversion of man. Dungeon cell. Even today also, the kind of tortures you inflict upon the suspects, upon the prisoners, is unimaginable. There is no humanity at all there. But you see, we are helpless because people are also like that, you see. I have laid the prisoner in his dungeon cell. Heavy on my shoulders weighs the yoke of time. So I keep on carrying that yoke of time on my shoulders all the while. Nothing refusing of creation's load. I have borne all and know I still must bear. Perhaps when the world sinks into a last sleep, I too may sleep in the dumb, eternal peace. Now that is our hope, that is our expectation. I had to suffer, keep on suffering all the while, and when man sleeps in his last sleep, maybe I will also have rest. That is the rest. But actually, this last sleep is not there in the Indian tradition. It is basically Christian tradition, Christian compassion, last sleep. So you forget all that thing and live in last sleep. So this Madonna is a kind of a mixture of Christianity and Indian compassionate goddess. Perhaps when the world sinks into a last sleep, I too may sleep. And he says, of course, perhaps. Still, she is not sure that it will be the end of the whole thing, you see. I have borne the calm indifference of everyone. I am suffering here all the while, and God above, he has no sympathy, no compassion. He is not even bothered. Indifferent. He is watching that thing, but he doesn't care at all about that kind of a thing. Watch nature's cruelty to suffering things while God passes silent by, nor turn to help. See? So there is no God is not a good Samaritan at all, see. He is not a good Samaritan, see. He is, okay, suffer, it's good for you, see. It's necessary for you to suffer, see. That is the law of justice, see. While God passed silent by, now turned to hell. Yet have I cried not out against his will. Yet have I not accused his cosmic law. I never accused his law. Now, the most poignant, the most poignant description of this thing is in the book of Jobs. How Job suffers. And he does not accuse God at all, never accuses. Every misery is inflicted upon him. His children die, his property is taken away, everything gone, everything. But he never complains against God, you see. Finally, of course, he gets the reward. But in the whole process, he suffers. I have cried out against his will. That is what he says. I didn't call. You want to give me suffering? All right, it is your will. Let me accept that will. That is the position Job had taken. And then, of course, he passes through the topaz walls and sees sisters, great sisters, helping him in all that. Yet have I cried not out against his will, yet have I not accused his cosmic law. I have never accused. Perhaps there is a purpose, there is a meaning in that. That is what Job sees in that. Now here again, you see the powerful inversion. Yet have I cried not. Yet I cried not. You see, it's not that. The purposeful inversion. Have I not accused? Have I not cried? It becomes more forceful. So Sri Aurobindo uses that thing with a certain purpose. Only to change this great hard world of pain. Why? Because the whole idea is to change this world of pain behind all that thing. A patient prayer has risen from my breast. It is that prayer which alone can help you. A pallid resignation lights my brow. I resign to the will of God. Let him do whatever he wants. I suffer, let me suffer. That is my resignation. Within me, a blind faith and mercy dwell. Blind faith, I don't know what is the real meaning behind that thing, but I kind of believe that whatever is being done by him is for my good, and that is my blind faith. Within me, a blind faith and mercy dwell. I carry the fire that never can be quenched. Now, this is the most poetic line, most powerful line. It is actually a kind of a mantric line. I carry the fire that never can be quenched. That is what we have to have. That never, under whatever circumstances it be, it will keep on burning. That constant blaze is there, irrespective of the situations, circumstances. I carry the fire that never can be quenched. That is the immortal fire. That is the great Agni who will burn and burn and burn. All that. In that case, in fact, this Agni, I carry the fire that never can be quenched. Why does it burn, that fire? That immortal in the mortal. Agni is described by the Vedas as immortal in the mortal. And therefore it cannot be quenched at all, you see. What does it do? In the context of all this evil and suffering and misery, it is Agni who burns the negative principles of life, existence. He is the purifier. He purifies you of all these sins and miseries and sufferings. He is the one who purifies. It is He who gives you a constant new birth. You go from birth to birth in a progressive manner. It is that fire, therefore it can never be quenched. Agni is the purifier. Agni Pavaka, as the Vedas says, Agni Pavaka, he is the purifier. Agni, the one who gives new birth, Agni Jata Vedas, who knows the birth. The immortal is immortal. I carry the fire that never can be quenched. Now that is what is this Madonna is holding in her breast, and that is in the inner countries. It is that which is sustaining her. And a compassion that supports the sun. That is what she is doing. Why the suns and the stars, all these astronomical objects are held in position in space? By what? By compassion. By compassion. Dante says in the Divine Comedy, it is the love that makes move the stars in the sky, the sun and all the stars. It is love. Here it is compassion. Love that makes move the sun and other stars. That is the last line of Divine Comedy, no? And the compassion that supports the sun. So it is not gravity. Gravity is on the physical plane, but this is something else which is really holding up. And carry the fire. See, these two lines, you can see the difference between these two lines and the other description. They are spiritually charged lines. There is enormous amount of spiritual content. The mysticism in its densest, in its most luminous form. Most luminous form. I carry the fire that never can be quenched, and the compassion that supports the sun. Just keep on repeating. You fall into a kind of a beautiful rhythm, you see. Now, in contrast to that, you can see this line is, so to say, literally, I am the hope that looks towards my God. See, it is not that intensity which is there in these two lines, you see. I carry, so the inspiration in Savitri goes up and down like that. There is a certain minimum level, but then it can really climb up to great heights suddenly somewhere, jumps up straight into bright skies. It is not uniform throughout. The inspiration itself has grades to say about. I carry the fire that never can be quenched, and the compassion that supports the sun. Most beautiful lines, you see. I am the hope that looks towards my God. My God who never came to me till now. But I am carrying hope. He has not come. It does not mean that he will not come. He has not come does not mean that he will not. I am having that hope. And it is that fire, that quenchless fire, which is constantly burning in me, that he will come. See? My God who never came to me till now. His voice I hear that ever says, I come. I know that one day he shall come at last. That is the conviction, that is the Shraddha, that is the true spiritual Shraddha, confidence, hope, faith. That is luminous faith she has got in. And this faith is, of course, immediately rewarded by Savitri herself. Savitri says, yes, I will come back and bring him and give his strength to you to stand all the things. So I will say, these two lines, I carry the fire that never can be quenched, and the compassion that supports the sun. Keep on repeating, chanting. You see its vibration settling down, you see, and the inner Agni starts getting brighter and brighter with those lines, you see. She ceased, and like an echo from below, answering her pathos or divine complaint, as if God Himself is making a kind of complaint. You see. This is a complaint is an old-fashioned word. Let me give the exact meaning of that word I got here. An expression of pain. Complaint, an expression of pain, dissatisfaction, discontent, resentment. An expression of pain, dissatisfaction, discontent, resentment. Divine dissatisfaction, divine expression of pain. Answering her pathos of divine complaint, her resentment. It is a divine resentment from below answering to heaven. A voice of wrath took up the dire refrain, a growl of thunder, a roar of angry beast. So, from the subliminal power above, this lady is speaking of divine compassion and know that one day he shall come. That is her hope, that is her promise and hope both. But in the inner world, it's not only above, there is something below also. When she is speaking, somebody from below is hearing that thing. And he says, what are you talking? Nonsense. I am here. I am here to oppose you. That resentment there from below. The subconscious and the subliminal, they are constantly in conflict. The voice coming from above is now answered from somebody from below. The Asuric force which is there, the giant, the Rakshasa, who is sitting there down below, he is going to answer, what are you talking? Here I am here all. This is what we want to see here now. She sees, and like an echo from below, answering her pathos of divine complaint, a voice of wrath took up the dire refrain, a growl of thunder, a roar of angry beam. The beast that crouching growls within man's depths, he is there down below in the subconscious. Voice of a tortured titan, once a god. The fallen angel, he was once an angel, but he has become a Satan, the fallen angel. In the Greek mythology, you had gods who were revolted against the Supreme and become the opposite, the Titans in the Greek mythology. In India also we have once a god. This is a significant phrase. It describes all that thing, once a god. What is called in the Indian tradition, Purve Devaha, earlier gods. Purve means earlier gods. They have become now the opposite, revolted. Purva, earlier gods. Purve Deva. So once a god, in Sanskrit is Purve Devaha. Deva means God. Purve means earlier. And he is of course tortured here. There are a lot of examples of the Titan. Prometheus, Hercules, he was given 12 labors, these things. Prometheus, how he was tied for revolting against God. They were earlier gods, but then they have fallen and they were tortured. So this is a direct reference to the Greek mythology specifically. See, a voice of a tortured Titan, once a god, I am the man of sorrows. Man of sorrows. I am he who is nailed on the white cross of the universe. To enjoy my agony, God built the earth. He is a cruel person, God. He takes perverted joy in torturing others. My passion, he has made his drama's theme. That is a tortured Titan saying, man of sorrows. Prometheus is one example of the tortured Titan. He was tied to a rock, and the eagle of Zeus would come and eat his flesh. In the night again mended, like they went on and on like that. The Prometheus myth first appeared in the late 8th century BC. Epic poet Hesiod and Theogony. Humans would keep that meat for themselves and burn the bones wrapped in fat as an offering to the gods. This is part of the sacrifice. Prometheus, in eternal punishment, is chained to a rock where his liver is eaten daily by eagle. That is the eagle of Zeus himself. Eagle, only to be regenerated by night. So during the day, the eagle will eat the flesh, and in the night again be renewed. Due to his immortality, the eagle is a symbol of Zeus himself. So he would come and eat that flesh with him. Years later, the Greek hero Heracles slays the eagle and frees Prometheus from the eagle's torment. Heracles is also a fallen person, fallen god, you see. And he had to undergo 12 labors. Heracles. In fact, Shebendo's drama, Prometheus Unbound, is a poem by Shelley also, you see. So suddenly you get all kind of references in one single half phrase, you see. Here are the 12 labors he had to undo. Slay the Nemean lion, slay the 9-headed Hydra, capture the golden hen of Artemis, capture, etc. These are the 12 labors he was supposed to do. I am the man of sorrows. See, Mother speaks of her experience in the prayers and meditation about the man of sorrows. 22nd February 1914. 22nd 1914. An old man, silent and immobile, dressed in a long robe of somber violet, was personification of man of sorrows. She used to go up, she was a child of 13 years, and she used to see for several days the man of sorrows. She used to climb up, and her dress would spread down below in the city. And then people would come and touch it and get consolation from that. And then she saw the man of sorrows there, you see. Personification of the man of sorrows. The mother, at the age of 13, in 1891, she had that experience. And she wrote that thing in 1914 in one of the letters, Man of Sorrows. Shebendo speaks of man of sorrows in a letter to Nirodbaran. He used to always complain, feel miserable, sorry, unhappy, and that kind of a thing. And he writes to Nirodbaran, knock off the man of sorrows from your shoulders and go cheerfully ahead. Be happy always, cheerfully ahead. He is always making a rare himself and covering himself with a sevenfold overcoat of tragedy. Man of sorrow, sevenfold overcoat of tragedy he is wearing on. And gloom. And he wouldn't feel its existence in that process. Justified if he couldn't be colossally miserable. So unless he is miserable, he will not agree that he exists. He does not exist unless he feels himself miserable. And then Shebendo says, throw off the man of sorrows and call in the man of mirth, man of happiness. in contrast to sorrows, mirth. In fact, in the Bible, we have got a whole book, Jeremiah, of complaints, lamentation, weeping, crying, that kind of a thing you see, all the while. So it is that man of sorrows we are seeing here, and he is describing his plight. I am the man of sorrows. I am he who is nailed on the white cross of the universe. So he himself calls himself as Christ. To enjoy my agony, God built the earth. My passion, he has made his drama's theme. He is becoming dramatic, emphatic also. He has sent me naked into his bitter world. Well, that is how we are born. And beaten me with the rods of grief and pain. He takes pleasure in that, in beating me. That I might cry and grovel at his feet and offer him worship with my blood and tears. He demands my worship, and in order to that, he will whip me, he will make me cry. I am Prometheus under the vulture's beak, is what we have seen just now. Under the vulture's beak, that is the eagle. Man, the discoverer of the undying fire. It is Prometheus who had stolen the fire from heaven and given it to man. It is he who had stolen the fire from heaven, and it is for that thieving of fire he was punished. He was bound to the rock and all these agonies. Now, in a certain sense, it is good he stole the fire. Agni, he brought heaven's Agni to man. Why he was not allowed to steal fire, take fire? Because heaven thought that earth is too weak, too feeble to handle that kind of fire. It is premature to give that fire to a person who is not capable of handling it. It is really premature to give the power of the atom to man. He can destroy the whole world. He can destroy the whole world. The atom bomb, that is the fire which has been stolen from heaven. And if you don't know how to handle it, you will destroy the whole world. Before God would have time to shout, the scientists will come and blow out the whole universe. That is what Sri Aurobindo says. In 1939, you see, he wrote that. The scientists played with an atom and blew out the universe before God had time to shout. So if Prometheus is going to bring that kind of a fire, it is really premature. And therefore he was punished. But he has done a lot of good things, you see. Now we have got fire in various stages, various kinds. Atomic fire is there, microwave, you cook your food so easily in the microwave oven, you see. That is the fire also, you see. He brought that fire. He made things move because of that, you see. We have got kitchen fire, we have got coal, faggots of all kinds are there. Man, the discoverer of the undying fire, the discoverer of the undying fire. That is the immortal Agni. It is he who discovered and brought it down and gave it to man. So I will say he has done perhaps a greater job than what the gods would do. Gods are timid in that sense. They cannot steal the fire and give it to man. But this Titan, he has strength to bear the consequences of his act. He has the strength to bear the consequences. He gives that fire. I am the seeker who can never find, in the flame he kindled burning like a moth. I am the seeker who can never find. I am the fighter who can never win. I am the runner who never touched his goal. So I keep on running the race, but I never reach the goal. Because the goal post is constantly getting shifted also, farther and farther away, you see. Hell tortures me with the edges of my thought. Heaven tortures me with splendor of my dream. So both ways I am getting tortures, from heaven as well as from hell. What profit have I of my human soul? If it is like that, then what do I live here? Why I taken this human birth at all then? You see, if both heaven and hell are going to inflict tortures on me, why should I exist at all? What profit have I of my human soul? I toil like the animal die. But why does he think himself superior to an animal? You see, after all, animal also is a God's creature. I am man the rebel, man the helpless serf. He has rebelled. He is still in the fire. Fate and my fellows cheat me of my wage. So this is what happens. You see, this happens very regularly in India. You are employed in a company or in an office or a school, and he will take a signature from you for 10,000 rupees. Signature will take for 10,000 rupees and give exactly 7,000 rupees. He will cheated, you see. This is what happens in the schools. The teachers are made to sign a higher bill in return of a payment which is much less than what they have signed for. Fate and my fellows cheat my wage. They take away the wages, you see. In fact, what happens if you are a contractor? You want a job, the contractor will pay you something, but then he will be demanding something, the contractor from you. I loosen with my blood my servitude's seal. So it is blood which I am now making it pay for that. And shake from my aching neck the oppressor's knees. So you can imagine he is putting his knees on the neck like that, you see. Oppressor's knee, only to seat new tyrants on my back. So one goes and the other comes, you see, and goes on and on. My teachers lesson me in slavery. This is the free education you get, liberal education, that the teachers will teach you how to live in slavery. I am shown God's stamp on my true signature upon the sorry contract of my fate. Why you are suffering? Well, this is the kind of a contract you have made with God. So you better accept that now. You can't help it, you see. I have loved, but none has loved me since my birth. My fruit of earth is given to other hands. All that is left me is my evil thoughts, my sordid quarrel against God and man, envy of the riches that I cannot share, hate of a happiness that is not mine. He is recounting his fate, his misery, his condition. I know my fate will ever be the same. It is my nature's work that I cannot change. I have loved for mine, not for the beloved's sake. I demand love, but I will not give love back to my beloved. I love for mine. So that is the kind of an appropriation. You demand that thing. I give you wages in demand, in return of you being my slave at my mercy all the while. I know my fate will ever be the same. I have loved for myself and not for others' life. Each in himself is soul by nature's law. So God has made his harsh and dreadful world. God has made his harsh and dreadful world. That is his reading of his creation. This is what we have seen earlier. Savitri's mother was asking Narad, is this your God who made this cruel world? God has made his harsh and dreadful world. So has he built the petty heart of man. Only by force and ruse can man survive. For pity is a weakness in his breast. His goodness is a laxity in the nerves. His kindness an investment for return. So it's a business. His altruism is ego's other face. He serves the world that him the world may serve. So this is the kind of a God he is seeing, the subconscious, the lower vital. If once the Titan strength could wake in me, if Enceladus from Etna could arise, then I then would reign the master of the world, and like a god enjoy man's bliss and pain. Enceladus, he was a giant. He was a giant. And in the war between gods and giants, Athena pushed him down onto the mountain in Sicily, Etna. And whenever he used to shake and all that thing, the volcano would burst open in Sicily. So Enceladus is still lying there under the Mount Etna. If one, the Titan strength, could wake in me, if Enceladus from Etna could arise. So every time the volcano bursts, it means that Enceladus has turned his side up, down like that. He could not be killed, obviously, because he is an immortal. So all that Athena could do was push him down onto the mountain and bury him there. He could not be destroyed. In other words, he will continue to be there for eternity. Only when Nara's song becomes real and the demons wept with joy seeing the return from whom they had come. They are waiting for the day to come. I then would reign the master of the world and like a god enjoy man's bliss and pain. So this is what he says. Look, if I can have that strength, I will throw away God and be the master of that thing. Now I don't know whether this master or this master are then any different. Titan as a master or God as a master who is inflicting, this man also will inflict the same kind of a torture on us, you see. So there is no escape. Both of them are in that sense alike. Now these are like a God, ministries of God, enjoy man's bliss and pain. They are basically super vital gods. They are not the true, genuine, supramaterial gods. They are not. They are the vital gods who have fallen and become the Asuric forces. Titan is the Asura. But God has taken from me the ancient force. He has taken away my force. What can I do? I suffer. There is a dull consent in my sluggish heart, and I agree. A fierce satisfaction with my spatial pang, as if they made me taller than my kind. So by suffering, by this misery of mine, I perhaps grow. Only by suffering can I excel, can I be better. I am the victim of titanic ills. I am the doer of demoniac deeds. I was made for evil. Evil is my lot. I was made for evil. Well, actually, that is wrong. He was not made for evil. It happened. It happened. Because he had disconnected himself from the Supreme. Evil I must be, and by evil live. Not other can I do, but be myself. So helplessly I am here. Let me be what I am all the while. What nature made me, that I must remain. I suffer and toil and weep. I moan and hate. I hate this God, but I can't help it. I suffer. See, I suffer. This is a very beautiful line poetically. I suffer and toil and weep. I moan and hate. I suffer. First foot is I suffer. I am. Then second foot is suffer and toil. Short, long. Anapis. I suffer and toil and weep and I moan and hate. I am, I am, I am. You see. So first foot is I am, second foot is an anapist, and the other 3 feet are again I am. I suffer and toil and weep, I moan and hate. And the master stroke here is this semicolon. See the kind of an emphasis it brings, the poetic master stroke, this semicolon here. I suffer and toil and weep, you pause for a while, kind of assimilate the impact of that phrase, and then I moan and hate. And Savitri heard the voice of that Madonna, the echo of the Titan heard, and turning to her being of pity, spoke. Deep compassion's ecstasy, pity, divine pity was on her face. Daya, Karuna, it was there on her face. It was shining bright because of that compassion, Daya and Karuna. And turning to her being of pity, spoke. Madonna of suffering, mother of grief divine. Mother of grief divine. So there is a kind of a divinity in grief. In earlier part of Savitri, in second book, Canto 7, Descent into Night, is a description of the whole falsehood. And when the mother was doing painting, rather Huta was doing painting with the mother, and that portion she was going to paint, she wrote a title for that. Falsehood is the sorrow of the Lord. Falsehood is the sorrow of the Lord. Under that painting she wrote, falsehood is the sorrow of the Lord. Here is the grief divine. It is also a part of the Lord of divine. In the play, in the whole process, there is a kind of a divinity even in this phase of life. Falsehood is the sorrow of the Lord. And of course, mother had advised to skip as far as possible reading those parts of the book, the Descent to Night and Falsehood, Canto 7 and Canto 8 of the second book. Because so dark, so powerful, they can overpower. But the fact that they are there, they are not there for skipping. Because when you read those things also, the text itself gives you the strength to withstand the impact of all that falsehood and suffering. When she's talking of this thing, divine grief and pity, see, you don't really feel that. The text itself is providing you the necessary force to withstand and take hold of all that in your position. So don't skip that part, because the strength will come there from that also. Madonna suffering, Madonna, my lady, Madonna, my lady of suffering, mother of great divine. She is the one who brings divine. Now, he says of mother, as I told you, all these powers, he is giving an example of 3 here. A few gods appeared, a few powers, a few forms appeared rather. They are all in our subliminal. And it is they who create the necessary form within us. Therefore, they are mothers. She is creating that thing within us, that feeling. That is the character of her swabhava, nature, personality. It is required for a certain purpose. And therefore she is creating that thing there. Because down below is the subconscious. To meet that thing, there has to be the divine element also from above, and that is what is present in the subliminal. So, like that, in the case of the mental being, we have these 4 5 prominent powers I told you last time: Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. They are seated there in the subliminal, and it is they who have created our personality. If you want to go beyond the mental being, then higher powers should get formed in us. They should create their powers within us. And it is that which the soul is sort of promoting. And when those things are fully formed, then you slowly start moving towards a being greater than the mental being. Mother of grief divine, thou art a portion of my soul. So she is acknowledging her work. You are also a part of my soul, you see. My ansha, my portion, my soul put forth to bear the unbearable sorrow of the world. Had she not been there, it would have been impossible for us to bear the sorrow. Had she not been there, the sorrow of the world is so dense, so thick, so heavy, it would have been impossible for us to bear it in her absence. And that is why she is grief divine. Divine. Thou art, because thou art, man yield not to their doom, but ask for happiness and strive with fate. Because thou art, the wretched still can hope. Yes, we always carry hope because of her. But thine is the power to solace, not to save. You can give consolation, you can show pity, karuna, daya you can show, but you can't save person, you see. Because you don't have strength. You don't have strength. To save, you need strength. You don't have strength. And solace alone cannot save you. One day, I will return a bringer of strength. You see, this verse says, I will come with strength and give to you what you want. One day I will come, I will return a bringer of strength. She will come, Savitri will come back with strength, as a bringer of strength. She will bring strength. And make thee drink with the eternal's cup. His streams of force shall triumph in thy name. So that force will flow in your body, in your nerves, in your blood streams. His streams of force shall triumph in thy name, and wisdom, calm control the passionate heart. Today, you are lacking wisdom. Today, you are lacking strength. When I come back, I will bring strength. I will bring necessary wisdom, and it is in the calm of that wisdom that your heart will find peace. So rather, it is Savitri who is consoling the compassionate mother. She one who gives all consolation, solace to us. It is she who is now getting solace from Savitri. Thy love shall be the bond of humankind. Compassion, the bright king of nature's acts. Bright king of nature's acts. It is that daya, karuna, bright king of nature. So that's a master of acts. Now I think in the revised edition, it's not king, it is key, K-E-Y. Compassion, the bright key of nature's acts. Key, K-E-Y, key. This is the revised edition, 1993. Because king, for them, Looks a little clumsy.
Because I said it's strange because Satfran, he translates from this.
Yes, no, he translates from earlier than this.
He translates from.
No, this came after 1993.
Because he put
Yeah, this is, yeah. This came,
after 93.
this is 1993. But I think king is more powerful. Compassion, the bright king of nature's acts, is so powerful. He is very weak, miserable. See, I don't know why they changed. Absolutely no basis is available. Most probably, most probably, this is a dictated line. In fact, the whole of canto is essentially a dictated canto. Most of the seventh book is a dictated book. In 1946, Shebando didn't write anything with his own hand. So people think that Shebando said ki, but stupid Nirodbaran heard it king. And therefore they had every key in their hand to make it make the king a key, you see. Thy love shall be the bond of humankind, compassion the bright king of nature's acts. Yeah, compassion is the king of nature's acts. It's not the key. He is the master of acts. Misery shall pass, abolish from the earth. Obviously, it's not the key which is going to open, it's the king who is going to pass the act. The world shall be freed from the anger of the beast. Anger of the beast. That is the vital being, the Rakshasi force, the giant, Rakshas's anger. The world shall be free from the anger of the flame, from the cruelty of the Titan. Titan is the Asura. Titan is the Asura. And his pain. There shall be peace and joy forevermore. There shall be. See now again, monosyllabic practically. There shall be peace and joy forevermore. There's so much smoothness, so much of peace in that line, and luminous peace in that line. There shall be peace and joy forevermore. Quietly goes on. So this is the first Madonna. Now in the entire description you can see now how different these lines are. The whole narrative compared with that, you can see the majesty, the power, the density of the spiritual charge which is present in these two lines. I carry the fire that never can be quenched, and the compassion that supports the sun. Suns, suns, plural, support the sun. Now, of course, astronomy knows only one sun, and the rest are all stars. It doesn't have suns. There are no suns in the astronomy solar system, only one sun is there. But here he speaks of suns. What do the suns mean? Plural suns. Sri Aurobindo speaks of 7 suns. Of light, power, beauty, love, joy, truth. Each one, each quality in its supramental form is a sun. Love is a sun, beauty is a sun, truth is a sun, joy is a sun, power is a sun. Each is a sun. Each is a sun. It is from that source that the power will come out, the beauty will come out, the love will come out. It is that source. So it is therefore innumerable suns, the spirit's suns, support the sun. It is those suns which are supported by this compassion. I think the plural suns appears how many? 57 times in Savitri. I'll have to check that, but it appears sun. But it means that basically it is a divine quality, the spiritual quality in its multiplicity, in its various forms, which the plural means.